The Memphis Grizzlies homestand has started with a couple of thrillers. Tuesday, the Grizz called 12 and knocked off the Suns in the closing seconds. Last night, the Knicks did the same to the Grizzlies. OG Anunoby knocked down a big three, and the call to 12 rimmed out this time. Ja finished with 25 in the loss, while Desmond Bane had a 24 and 12 double-double. Tonight, the Grizzlies welcome a wounded San Antonio team, which the Grizz have owned the last 4 years. Wiggy is set for the Grizzlies and Spurs from FedEx Forum. It's Grizzlies Live on FanDuel Sports Network, and it starts now! Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Grizzlies Live, presented by your Mid-South Ford dealers. Live from Memphis, Tennessee, and FedEx Forum, the Memphis Grizzlies getting set to host the San Antonio Spurs, who are finally going home after a long road trip. Grizzlies want to send them home with a loss. Santi Aldama's coming up a 9.5 rebound game last night against New York. Santi has scored in double figures in 6 of the last 8 while scoring 9 in the other 2. He's averaging over 13 points a game in the last 8. And against San Antonio, Santi's averaging 18 and 8, including a career-high 29 on January 17th. It's wrestling night. And it's Desmond Bane wrestling buddy night as well here at FedEx Forum. Oh, that is sweet. Welcome to Grizzlies Live, presented by your Mid-South Ford dealers. Get you set for the Grizz and the San Antonio Spurs tonight. I'm Rob Fisher, Brevin Knight, Chris Vernon, here behind our Built Ford Tough desk with wrestling buddy Des Bane. All right.
Who's Chris Vernon? Spurs better double team me. Spurs better double team me.
Grizzlies getting set to take on the Spurs tonight. We'll get to that one in a moment. But first, the New York Knicks game last night, a tough loss for the Memphis Grizzlies, and there were 2 guys that really did in the Grizz, Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby.
Yeah, big plays down the stretch for both Brunson and OG Anunoby, and this was one of those games that was going to come down to one play. Now, as you were able to decompress today, you're going, man, 4 for 31 from 3. If you could just get a couple of them, maybe it wouldn't have come down to one play. But when it mattered most, you had both Jalen Brunson make a massive three-pointer and then obviously make the play for his teammate, Anunoby. Those were the 2 big guns for New York last night.
Well, this Anunoby was big on both ends. I thought his defense on Jaren was good, especially early in the basketball game. And then, of course, late in the basketball game, he makes the big 3. But it all predicated. This is the first 3 off of the high screen and roll that the Knicks continue to run and get baskets off of. And then here, a little bit of a defensive breakdown. With Jalen Brunson, what we said all year, what has made him good is the ability to also affect the game in the assist category. And none bigger than that last pass that he made to Anunoby.
Brunson with 23, had 7 in the fourth quarter. OG with 19, 4 of 10. From beyond the arc. Grizzlies lose at 114-113. Only 4 of 31 from 3 for the Grizzlies. They shot 47% for the game. Did out-rebound the Knicks 58-35, but 19 turnovers turned into 28 second-chance points for the Knicks last night. Oh, it was a great game down to the wire, going back and forth. Grizzlies called 12 a couple of times. He answered, and then just had one rim out.
Yeah, just one rolled out right at the very end of the game. The one that meant the most, but the one right before. I mean, look, in the end, he should have hit the game winner and he should have gotten the last stop.
Yes.
That's what we should be talking about. We should all have gotten to put up our Call 12 memes. We should all have been celebrating Ja Morant, another game winner after he had just done it against Phoenix. But that's where you have to get the stop. And they weren't able to get the stop. Still got a great look on the last shot of the game. And look, it's, as they say, it's a make or miss league.
Exactly. And you give Ja Morant all the credit because in this situation here, you're down. He goes one-on-one, gets the and one opportunity there. And as you say, you think that the Grizzlies have a chance of winning this game, but they just didn't do enough. What we have seen, Ja, is his attacks of the basket have yielded free throws, and he has shot his free throws at an extremely high rate. And so if he just continues to play with that type of fervor, that type of energy, this Grizzlies team will be just all right.
Yeah, and the Grizzlies last night, another positive, especially considering the first game against the Knicks. Rebounding was great for the Grizzlies last night, and with those rebounds came a lot of offensive rebounds, which turned into points in the paint.
Yeah, I thought they just did a good job of everybody attacking the basket. And without Mitchell Robinson in the game, so Zach Edey did a great job, but it was everyone had a hand in being able to have the offensive rebounds, but the attacks, it saw the advantage in the paint was 74-54. there was a minus 27 on threes in the Knicks' favor, but it was plus 30 for the Grizzlies in their favor. So they negated the missing of the threes by doing what they have done better than most teams and for a lot of years.
Yeah, and on that rebounding number, I mean, we talked about this last night so many times when the Grizzlies have played the best teams in the league this year. It felt like that other team was the one flying around. Ball comes off the rim, and the Grizzlies are standing around waiting for somebody to go for the ball. Desmond Bane and the rest of the group all were going for every loose ball.
Have you noticed the standings lately?
Yes.
2 through 5, game and a half separating 2 through 5. Houston hosts Sacramento tonight. Tomorrow, Denver's at Boston, and the Clippers will stay in Los Angeles. They will visit the Lakers. All right, tonight, the San Antonio Spurs coming into town. They're 1-4 since they lost Victor Wembanyama. Keldon Johnson, almost 11 points a game off the bench against the Grizzlies. Double figures in 5 straight games.
And there's always those guys that I think I have a higher opinion of than many of my peers simply because of how they performed against the Grizzlies in the past. He's one of them. I feel like he's had some really nice games against the Grizzlies in the past.
Definitely worry about his physicality, the way that he plays, how hard he plays on the floor. But there are a number of those guys. Stephon Castle with there. De'Aaron Fox is now there. The speed at which they will play is an asset for them this year.
Grizzlies 3-0 this season against the San Antonio Spurs, plus 16 points per game in the paint and averaging 20 fast break points per game in the 3 games. But the Grizzlies will have a different lineup tonight. No Ja Morant, no Desmond Bane, no Brandon Clark, no Vince Williams. Starting lineup for the Grizzlies, Scottie Pippen Jr., John Conchar, Jalen Wells, Santi Aldama, and Jaren Jackson Jr. No Zach Edey in the starting lineup either for the Grizzlies. We will take a break. We'll come back. We're just underway here on Grizzlies Live, presented by your Mid-South Ford dealers. Speaking of Zach Edey, 11 boards last night in his 8th double-double, 5 boards on the offensive glass. We'll talk Big Maple coming up in Pete's Perspective. Also, we'll have a conversation with the head coach of the Grizzlies, Taylor Jenkins, get his thoughts on tonight's matchup. And is Jalen Wells quiet? Well, I hope not, because we got him mic'd up. We'll have that for you coming up on Grizzlies Live. Welcome back, everyone, to Grizzlies Live, presented by your Mid-South Ford dealers. Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs tonight at a FedEx Forum. Grizzlies have won 7 of their last 9 here on the home floor. Did fall last night to the New York Knicks. And in last night's game, Zach Edey with 11 rebounds, 5 of them on the offensive glass. He's been very good offensive rebounding. When you look at Zach and see what he's done and the impact that he makes, what's the biggest area he does make an impact?
You just said it, the rebounding side. He has been terrific on rebounds of the basketball, whether it's on the defensive or offensive end. Offensively, he's gaining extra possessions for this Grizzlies team because a lot of times he might not even grab the rebound, but he is tipping the basketball out very well so that the perimeter guys are able to come up with the basketball. When a defender leaves to go help, he plants himself right in front of the basket to be able to have these offensive rebounding opportunities. The biggest issues, the biggest things for him to continue to get better at is be ready for drop down passes when guys drive to the basket, and then pick and roll basketball, whether it's offensively or defensively, is an area that all young players, especially bigs, have to learn as they move along. But for Zach Edey, it's also, he is still finding a way to impact the game for this Grizzlies team while still learning what the position is. But I think this team is also trying to learn and figure out what his positives can be for them on a regular basis.
All right, for more on Zach Edey, let's head down to the court. Welcome in the television voice of your Memphis Grizzlies, Pete Pranica, for Pete's Perspective. Hello, Pete.
Hey, guys. Well, I asked Taylor Jenkins about Zach Edey and his offensive rebounding capability, and Taylor Jenkins said, well, he did that at Purdue. Now, he's learning the ways of the NBA a little bit better about how to carve out space underneath the rim and to get those offensive rebounds. Now, among NBA rookies, Edey is second in rebounds per game and offensive rebounds per game, and he leads all rookies in second chance points, right around 3 per game. Now, as a rookie with the Grizzlies, averaging 7.8 rebounds a game. That is the highest rebound average in franchise history since Pau Gasol, 8.9. And these numbers are against the entire league. 43% of his rebounds, offensive, 5th best in the entire NBA. Second chance points, 10th, with 32% of his field goal attempts and also 32% of his points. And he leads rookies, as I said, with 2.9 second chance points. Here's the other thing, too. He's averaging 3.3 offensive rebounds a game. That is the most in franchise history for any rookie. And you think about some of the rookies the Grizzlies have had here. Big Country Reeves, Pau Gasol, Marc Gasol. Nope, the 3.3 offensive rebounds per game for Zach Edey, the best by any Grizzlies rookie in the history of the franchise.
Wow, big stuff for Big Maple there. Thank you very much, Pete. Appreciate it. Yeah, he's going to come off the bench tonight for the Memphis Grizzlies. Has not done that in a while. We'll see how that works for Zach Edey. Jalen Wells. Do you know much about Jalen Wells? How quiet he might be or how talkative he might be?
I know how quiet he is.
Well, hopefully not, because he's mic'd up. Let's hear Jalen Wells.